they're smart enough. They choose and figure out where that will feed to. Wherever the most people are clicking and converting, they will figure out, okay, if it's over on Instagram, then we'll feed it to Instagram more.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Campfire, Capitalism. I'm your host, Desmond Dixon, and today we have a special guest, Miss Janet Johnson, and she is an ad agency owner, coach, worldwide speaker, podcaster that specializes in helping business owners get a return on investment, ROI, people, with their Facebook and Instagram advertising. She has generated millions of dollars for clients using her unique catapult strategy. Her online journey started way back in 1998, 90s, with selling on eBay and other online marketing while running a daycare in her basement. In 2007, she transitioned her business to social media marketing and, more specifically, paid advertising. Janet, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. This is fun.
Yeah. So first, I got to start off with this question because you started off with running a daycare out of your basement, doing eBay back when eBay was like the new shiny toy. They were a huge organization, and then you transitioned to being a specialist in the social media space. So talk to me about like the early days as an entrepreneur, and then we can kind of get into your zone of genius later. But yeah, talk to me about the early days.
Sure. Yeah. And it's like, I age myself. I should take out that 90s thing because I'm totally aging myself. But I've been around and I am an older person when it comes to the internet marketing space. It's just, I've been around doing it for so long. How I started is kind of funny because actually in my 20s, I have an elementary education degree. So we could go back even farther. Couldn't find a job, answered an ad. Now this is really aging me. Answered an ad in the newspaper. Yes, we opened newspapers once upon a time. And when I answered that ad, I ended up at a network marketing company, didn't even know what it was, did that company for 5 years and completely went to a lot of trainings, and it just turned my mind into an entrepreneur. So after that, it was like, I couldn't go back to thinking about a 9-to-5 job. So that's kind of how that transition happened. But then, I did some other things in between, that ended up not working out late 20s when I was in my late 20s. And then I just ended up finding that I could shop. I have a habit of shopping. I do like shopping. I love it. Now I'm an Amazon addict. But at that time, there was no such thing as online shopping. And I'm like, this is so cool. I can shop on eBay, and so I was shopping away. And then I realized, wait, people are selling things here. So I started finding products, sourcing products, and then selling and making money. So that's kind of how it all started. At the time, I was still wanting to be in business for myself. I wanted to keep my child at home with me instead of going to the corporate job. So I started that daycare. And then while they were napping, I kept selling things on eBay. And so what ended up happening after 6 years doing that, my business grew bigger than the daycare money, and I decided to quit that job. I transitioned, though, after that. I don't mention this a ton, but after realizing my stuff was illegal, my products were illegal and they got confiscated at the border too many times, I decided to quit selling on eBay. So I transferred my business into doing affiliate marketing, blogging, online marketing, you name it. I tried everything. I mean, I've done everything across the board. Then that transitioned into telling businesses they need to be on Facebook. And actually, it was MySpace before that. I used to set up MySpace profiles and all that kind of stuff. I mean, crazy. And Facebook was dumb back then, Facebook, MySpace is the thing to be. So it ended up transitioned a little more and a little more, and business were like 5 years Facebook will be gone, and this was the first days of Facebook before ads even existed. So we did that, and then I also put people at the top of Google, did a lot of SEO, and just worked with a lot of businesses and pretty much did anything and everything for the business owners. And that's kind of how I got started. And then eventually it all got too big and I just decided to shift my focus to social media, did a lot of management for clients. And then I focused even more over to just Facebook and Instagram. And then I focused even more into just ads because lead generation and reach, like you said, ROI is what the whole goal. Why are we doing social media in the first place? Because people want to see an ROI. Why are we in business? We need an ROI. So that's why I transitioned.
Love it. All right. I got so many questions because you've seen the entire journey of, the online media just transform over and over again. Now we're seeing the reel and the TikTok transformation of social media, where it went from everything was long form a couple of years ago with podcasts and YouTube videos. Now in video in general, now we're moving to you got 2 seconds to capture my attention and 15 seconds to make me want to watch this over again. Right. So I'm curious, how did you, what were some of your tools, or was it intuition, or you just kind of knew the space so well? How did you see these changes in social media over, from the MySpace days all the way now to, TikTok and Instagram Reels?
It's a tough one because here's the thing. Back in the day, I chased a lot of shiny objects. There were so many. Maybe you've been in this space long enough to know of Blab. Did you ever hear of Blab? That was something before Zoom. Okay. It was really wild. It's like Clubhouse. Have you heard of Clubhouse? No.
Yeah. Clubhouse. Yep.
Yeah. It was like Zoom, but Clubhouse. And so all these people would come and it was, and we would do all our podcast recordings there. And it just, boom, disappeared one day and just shut down because it didn't have enough money to financially keep it together.
I think that was Sean Perry's company. I think he talked about, he was talking about how the Pharma Bro used to be their biggest user and their biggest drawer of cloud, the guy who, raised prices by a large number, Yeah. So I heard of Blab. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, that one came along, and Periscope and Google. So I used to do trainings and stand in the front of a room and teach about Google Plus. Was it called Google Plus? Yep. And I used to teach Periscope, and I've done, so don't get me wrong. Did I just go from, knowing that, Facebook ads is going to be the thing? I did not. We all experimented along the way, and some of them flopped miserably. We have to fail in order to get, to the right place. And believe me, I did the failure. I used to think we used to do, management and posts for people's Twitter account. I don't even go on Twitter anymore. So it's just, it's one of those things where you've got to be careful. When Clubhouse launched, I was weary. I was very wary to chase another shiny object and spend hours of my time, potentially wasting my time with a new thing that we don't know if it's going to make it. So now I don't do that anymore. I just stay really honed in. And you know what? The true and tried really stay. Look at YouTube. It stuck around forever. And it's still super hot. And so I did dabble in TikTok, and I left it because I just thought, I don't know. And I'm sick of, chasing these shiny objects. And it's okay because honestly, Instagram has its reels. So we can still, get in front of people using the TikTok format because Facebook steals everything anyway. So I hate to say it, but they do. They copy everything, and that anybody gets successful, they'll come around. So that's why I'm pretty safe with Facebook and Instagram focus. But doesn't mean, and there's the LinkedIn experts, and that's fine. It's just, I decided that that's for them. This is for me. So you kind of have to pick your niche.
Yeah. And you make way more money the more specific you get. That's the crazy part about it. True. You make so much more money. Okay. So I have so many questions with this because I'm a sales guy and I love talking to marketing and other ops folks. Don't get me wrong. Ops is boring, but marketing is sexy. Sorry to admit saying it out loud, but it's the truth. So I'm super interested to kind of hear your take on this. So Google, right? So there's this huge battle in advertising. We're looking like we're going into a recession. Not cool. Hopefully we're not. But one of the first things that usually gets cut is people in marketing, right? Or with experimentation, right? So I'm really interested to kind of hear your take on, like, have you used Google Ads before? And then also, what's your take on like Instagram ads and like how to use them effectively in order to, maintain growth in the business and get that return on investment so that you can grow the business while everyone else is being conservative, right? So kind of give me your take on those two things. I gave you 2 for 1 special there.
Great. Yeah, no, it makes sense. To be honest, YouTube ads are my second favorite, which is Google. So, I mean, it is Google ads still, but it's YouTube ads. And then they just launched something new, Google Ads, and I can't remember the name of it. So I apologize. If I remember, I'll send you a message. But what it is, it's working potentially just as good, if not better, than some of the Facebook and Instagram ads. So one of the things I am doing in our agency is I'm like the pro with Facebook and Instagram ads. I mean, like I know like the back of my hand, business manager I live in. And Google ads we're dabbling back into because we feel like, well, for instance, one of my clients makes millions of dollars off of just the Facebook and Instagram lead generation that we do for them. And their ad account got shut down for 2 full weeks. How does that affect a business? Yeah. So we know that you shouldn't really count on that one revenue, that one marketing avenue. You really should have. So my recommendation would be the Facebook, Instagram side of things, but also maybe the Google, YouTube side of ads as well. And then thirdly, which I'm not the pro at, is I've heard a lot of people doing really well with TikTok ads too. So that, if that fits your niche, then you might want to look into TikTok ads have been doing pretty well for some people as well. So those are my top 3 favorites, but I would say still the most bang for the buck. I tell everybody that I work with, let's test everything first with Facebook and Instagram ads. And I'm going to tell you, when I say Facebook and Instagram ads, meaning we have one platform, Facebook, you log in through your Facebook account, but Facebook owns Instagram. So we do put the ads on both places. We let Facebook, they're smart enough. They choose and figure out where that will feed to. Wherever the most people are clicking and converting, they will figure out, okay, if it's over on Instagram, then we'll feed it to Instagram more. If it's Facebook, then we'll feed it to Facebook more. So we usually let them decide unless you're doing stories. And I have a whole program on that. It's called instaconversions.com. If you want to see it, that's how to do stories ads specifically. So you can separate it, but you don't have to.
I talk to a lot of marketers, and I'll tell you this right now. I'm probably going to buy one of your programs just because I'm so curious and I love like being I love it. So, all right, I got another backup question. I got another question now. So I've learned so many different marketing strategies with Facebook ads. I've heard the method where it's like kind of the propaganda style, like kind of like demand generation, where your goal is to keep the eyes in front of the client and then naturally, I guess, use recall for them to purchase. Yeah, I've seen the DM one, click and send us a message DM to get the link. Obviously, there's a traditional one where there's, a couple minute video and it's a button that leads to a landing page and they opt in. And that's a thing. I have my own story about that because I've sold that stuff before for marketers. So I'm really curious around your take of like your favorite marketing strategies of like, because I know you
there's a lot of them.
There's so many of them.
There's a lot. Well, I work with a lot of people that come to me for launches. So meaning we do a webinar launch and they have an open cart and closed cart. So I do a lot of those for other people. I don't personally in my business. We run what we call the group funnel. So currently if they opt in for my free checklist, I have a benchmarks cheat sheet. So if you opt in for that, you get the download and then we ask them to join our free group. So it's a group funnel. So basically the goal is for them to get in the group. And then, yes, I have a setter and a closer, and the setter does reach out to each person that joins, make sure they've seen all our free content that we have and see if they want to jump on a call to learn more. So that's kind of the funnel that I personally am using for my own business that works very well. I hired a very, very high level coach that does this as well, and we learned all that through them and work on that together. They also recommend the VSL, so video sales letter, where it's direct to a landing page for a sale, and then you talk about your program, and then they book a call with you directly. Those are more expensive leads for sure than just a free list building ad. My leads cost $4-5 a lead. It's not bad in cost, maybe 6-7, because B2B can be a little more money. But then I do a lot with list building. So let's say somebody comes to me and says, I'm going to launch this product. I say, what's the size of your list? And they go 0. Well, let's pre-launch. Let's do some list building first, because you have no list, or if they have a very small list. So then we might run list building ads to build up to the webinar launch to get, maybe 1,000 new leads for free. And then they do that launch. They have an open cart, open close, but they actually have a list to send that to. And that's a big push of ads we do. And then we pull back. But I like long-term ads better. Like, for instance, my group funnel can run forever. It could run I've run that for years. At this point, I'm a couple of years into the same offer because I perfected it now. So that's the one thing with launches. You don't have time to perfect it. You have like 10 days to 2 weeks to shove it out there. And then, so list building should be a consistent ad that people run, and they can perfect it by testing copy, creative, audiences, and then you can really learn who your audience is for the most cost effective. So lots of different types of ads. And then you can go direct. The ones you said messenger, those we typically do those for local businesses. They're the easiest for, like a restaurant that has a special offer, or a mortgage company. I've worked with them before, where they're just trying to collect the name, email, phone number, and then they'll call them. So those are real simple ones. For roofing company I'm working with right now, we have one of those running. So those are I guess I find those the best for local businesses.
All right, this is so fascinating.
I gave you a ton of information right there.
I know, but it was so good. There's I think the list building is super interesting because a lot of actually successful businesses, surprisingly, you never heard of them because they are word of mouth and reputation based. Like, for instance, my business, I'm sure I'd like dabble with ads, but every single one of my clients came from someone referring me, introduction, like just reputation based. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs who want to possibly do ads, but they think it's a lot of work, or, there's so many marketers, like, who do you trust? Like, this kid, it just started 6 months ago, right? Or, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of kids who started 6 months ago who are marketers, right? No offense to kids who are doing that, because I support all entrepreneurship. But so if there's an entrepreneur out there who's, they're doing 6 figures, doing, 6 figures, maybe touching 7, just with reputation base, and maybe are interested in, possibly scaling the business or diversifying their revenue streams, maybe with an additional product, or maybe get more systematized. Like, what is some of your recommendation to kind of like dabble into the ads and to see if it's right for them? Like, what's your advice there?
Number one, I tell people, a lot of people come to me. I have 2 sides of my business. One is agency side, where we do it for them, but I do coach and I do it with them. And a lot of people just say, no, I want you to do it. But I recommend learning this, at least understanding it. Like you were saying, if you're 6, close to 7, you probably are going to be at a point where you don't have the time, but you should understand where your money's going, first off. Understand how it's being spent. And I do find that the simplest, most cost-effective way to really learn this is by doing the list building ads, because, you're looking at 3, I have one client, and I'll never quote this, but she's a baker that sells to other bakers on how to bake, or she sells an apple course for $397 on how to create a carameled apple. Crazy. And she sells thousands of them. It's the craziest thing. Her lead cost for list building is under $1 a lead. So you can go that low, but I don't know. She's just like, it's crazy. She sees return on investment in everything she touches. And of course, I'm helping with her with the ads. Bottom line is, though, You can learn your audiences, you can learn your creatives, you can learn the copy and what your audience is looking for the fastest by far and the cheapest with the list building ads. Bottom line is you could get clients from that though too, because if you have a proper email sequence after the fact and you say, you know what, book a call with me, and you do the next level, you build the authority on that email sequence, then you still can convert to a sale, but it's just your lowest cost per lead. Those VSLs can cost you in upwards of 100 plus.
Yeah, I was gonna say just making the VSL could be a lot of money depending on like how much you put into it. Man, this is fascinating. All right, I got another question. You're good. So I love this podcast because I get to talk to smart people all day, guys, and I get to share it with you. So this is
you get to learn.
So with the email sequence that follows this, I am a pro. This is me personally. I have a story, and I'm a sales guy. Like I used to get fed off of email lists, right? Like based on the book and call. So I sound super biased here. But me personally, like because I know what's happening, I have like a story about them personally. So I'm a very like I am a relentless unsubscriber from everything: corporate, coaches, consulting services. Like unsubscribe. I don't want to read it. So for these email lists, how much of like what's your philosophy on like actually building a relationship with your audience while you're list building, right? And playing It's a really good question, but the one layer I personally add to mine is the group. So not only do they get emails from me, but they also are building relationships in my free Facebook group as well. So we have multiple layers there. I do a video every single week. And in order for them to get the video, I mean, these are some things I've made up on my own, but just so in order for them to even access that video, they have to join my group. So now it is on my Instagram, to be honest, but it's also only in that group. And then when the email, it's a group, it's a link to that group. So everything that I do, I want to build the community in the group as well. So it's not just the email campaign, if that makes sense. Yeah, this is fire. I love this. I love this. Because my girl has a group and she's talking like community and like it's all women and they're all doing their thing and abundance mindset. So I'm curious of this because I want to start. I mean, I'm just using myself as a test case here. So I'm interested in starting a group of like other entrepreneurs who are traveling the world like myself. And, I guess like this is a little fear. I'm getting vulnerable here, but I'm like, I want to start this group, but there's no one in the group. And I want to invite people into this group that there's no one in. And so like, how do you get over that fear of just like starting the group and sending it like that first initial, like maybe 20 people in the group?
Well, first you bribe all your friends to get in it. I mean, that's how I started the group. I'm like, you're going in this group and you're going in this group. You don't even tell them. You just put them in there. Like, these are my buddies. So at least I look like I have 30 people in this group. So that's kind of how you start. I've always done it that way because I've had like, I don't know, 20 groups on Facebook in the past. So that's how you start it. And then you really just, if you have 30 people, that's a decent number to start. And I think you have 30 friends that you could throw in that group probably. So, something like that. So that's a quick way to, get it started. And then, the ads. Now, one thing you cannot do with Facebook ads is run direct to a group. So they will not allow you to use a Facebook link in your ads because they're property. And they used to be able to get around it with a bit.ly link and shorten it. But it does not work anymore. It used to, but they blocked that now too. So the only way you would be able to do that, and I've tested this. So I tested direct to the group on a landing page where the only thing I said is join this group. And it was on a landing page, the link, and they clicked it. And that was actually more money. That cost me more money than having them opt in where I collect their name, phone number. I collect phone numbers too, phone number and email, and they join the group. So about 70% of mine join the group, not all of them, but you know what? They're in my email list. So it doesn't really matter as, they're in one or format or the other. So my recommendations do both. Take them to a landing page and then ask them to join the group over and over and over and over again. Like every email sequence, just join the group, join that community.
Got it. All right. This is some fire stuff. Okay. So So let's talk about launches, because I've never personally done a launch. I've been a part of launches as a sales guy, which are fun because it's like a fish frenzy, right? It's just like, oh man, so much excitement, so much energy. Then like
it's a lot of work too. Yeah.
So much work goes into. I feel bad for the marketing and ops guys because they put in a lot of hours and pull stress in.
A lot.
Us sales guys are just sitting at the table ready to eat. So, are you finished making the dinner yet? Hey, I'm hungry.
Exactly. I love it. I love that analogy. That's a good one.
So when preparing for a launch, like you mentioned, like you got to have your lists. So do you, I guess, like, what's the anatomy, the energy behind the launch? You don't have to tell us like the tack, like the actual, the ABCs of it, but like, what are some of the important, factors in when you want to do a launch and do it with paid advertisement?
Yeah. Well, my recommendation is do paid advertisement. Well, if you have no list and nobody to test it with, you need the paid ads. I mean, how are you going to even know if it's ever going to work if you don't get the traffic to it? So a lot of people, here's what I've learned over the years, and I've done it. I've done everything the wrong way. So, I've done it the right way and I've done it the wrong way. So I'm watching right now a guy he's building his course. He's taken a year. I'm like, is he ever going to need ads? It's been a whole year, because he's perfecting this course. Who have you even tested this with? Like, do you even know if people are really wanting this? So my recommendation is get the outline for it and do it along the way. I just hired a business coach that spent a whole bunch of money on it. And that's basically what he just taught me. They're like, you need to test this first. But so you do need the ads if you have absolutely no audience. But my recommendation is go to your warm audience first and just, even if you give it away for free and see what they think of it, if you have to, or just get a few people and seeing if they have an interest in buying it before you go spend money on ads. Secondly, then once you're ready to launch, I typically I will review people's launches, but I don't build out their whole funnel. Like, that's not my area. Mine is, once you have that ready, come to me for the traffic. Like, that's kind of how I work. But I do know all those pieces because I've done it for my own business and helped many, many companies do it. So they usually, like right now, we're in the middle of a launch with the baker. And she does 2 launches a year for bakers. And then she does 3 launches a year for the Apple course. So she just does it, I don't know how she schedules it out. And then always puts money behind it, but she also has a great organic reach too. So we pull in that email list and we pull in her Instagram organic reach so that we're getting those people, like you mentioned at the very beginning, remarketing, retargeting the people that already know, like, and trust her. Those are your hottest audiences. So if you have that built, great. Then we bring that in. If you don't have that, you're starting from scratch. But let's say the first launch, I just had a gal that didn't sell very much from her ads. But you know what? Now she's at 1,200 people that maybe they didn't buy, but you know what she said? It wasn't the ads. It was actually, she knew it was something in her webinar and how she pitched it. She gave them too much information. And so she knew that's what needed to be fixed. But you know what? I said, just keep in touch with them. She's going to relaunch in September. Keep educating them, stay in front of them, build your authority. And then when it comes to another launch, she'll have that list of people that will potentially purchase that time.
Yeah, that's so many. So let's just say hypothetically, like, the people that listen to this pod are like, they have high ticket services, like, 5-figure services, right? Or, a couple $1 million in revenue using SEO and, just very guerrilla tactics, right? We never use paid traffic. So I'm very interested on your take on the psychology of paid ads. Is it possible to run paid ads for a launch into, let's say, a 5-figure, like backdoor that into a 5-figure deal? Or do you believe in the value ladder? Like maybe you
can do a launch direct.
You can do a launch direct?
Yeah. You can sell direct as long as, you have all the, like I said, the webinar has to, or whatever it may be. You know, it could be a VSL. My coach, I could name Cole Gordon. He's my coach. He does, they're the ones that teach this strategy, but they do millions of dollars per month. And they use these exact strategies that I'm talking about. And a lot of their business comes from paid advertising, like Facebook and Instagram mainly. I'd say most consistent multi-million-dollar businesses are using Facebook and Instagram ads, for sure they are. It's most consistent. It's the most consistent one I know of, other than the YouTube, Google ads.
Mm-hmm. And I heard Google and YouTube can be the first 3 to 6 months can be a lot of testing. Like, so you got to be willing to burn some capital to find that perfect, the perfect hit for you.
Yeah, that's why I tell people start on Facebook and Instagram, test it there because it is a little more cost effective. But I've also, I had a client that we did both, and the YouTube cost more, but it converted on the back end much better to sales. So more quality. So you just got to be willing. You're right. You got to be willing to spend the money to get there. And that's the number one thing I tell people. The only reason I have not succeeded with a client's Facebook ads typically is they've given up too soon.
3 feet from gold. Okay. So now that we're into this part before we wrap up here, because this was a lot of value. What would you say for list building is the appropriate amount, like a budget to like that you would say allocate towards like building a list on Facebook and Instagram? Like if you haven't built a list.
Yep. It depends on what your goal is. Okay. So like work your way backwards. Let's just say in the next 90 days, you want 1,000 people on your list. So let's just say that you were paying, you don't know until you launch your ads what you're going to pay, but you can average it on, let's just say it was $5 a lead. Well, do 5 times 1,000, and divide that by 3. Yeah, exactly. So you need about that amount of money. So you always want to work your way backwards. I tell people, even how many people do you want on your webinar? How many people do you want to convert? We have a whole calculator that we use for that so that you can know, okay, you need this amount of ad spend to get this amount of people to potentially convert this many sales.
Got it. All right. Last question. I swear, I promise. So while you're list building, because this is so fascinating. This is fascinating. So as you're list building, are you also building your like, I guess your Instagram and your your Instagram account as well? Like, are you, or like, is that help, or does it just?
It can, if you want it to be, but yes, you will get, here's the thing, the goal is not to get Facebook likes. The goal is not, or followers, now it's all followers, but the goal isn't that. So you can set your goal. Like you can set your goal with Facebook ads. Do I want the most reach? Well, the most reach could reach a whole bunch of people, but that doesn't mean they're going to convert and they're the right people. So you set a goal of conversion typically for list building specifically, and you may get some followers that way. Yes, you may, but it's not the goal. So, but wouldn't you rather have somebody's email and phone number than have an Instagram follower?
Absolutely. Phone numbers all day, preferably.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I know. You're in the sales side. So yeah.
Okay. This is fascinating. Okay, cool. So this was great. So if people want to, if people want to know more about what you have 2 different sides of your business. So I guess just tell us a little bit more about your businesses and how people can find you.
Yeah. If they want to hear more and talk to me at all, you could just go to janetjohnson.com and click the contact me. You'll reach out and I will set up a call with me directly to my calendar. You can also connect with me. My Instagram is what I work the hardest on. So definitely that's got a lot of followers and we do a lot of content there. So Instagram, you can just go, you got to do Janet E. Johnson, add the E, because otherwise there's too many Janet Johnsons in the world. So it's Janet E. Johnson. The other thing, it's Social Strategies for Conversion is the group that we've talked about so much. So you can find that on Facebook and feel free to join the free group.
Boom. So those will be in the links and the show notes. If you're driving right now, wait till you get your destination and go check out what Janet is doing, because we're all about safety here at the Campfire. It was great to have you, Janet. This was great. And I really appreciate you for providing us a ton of value today.
Thanks for having me, Desmond.
Boom. So guys, you made it to the end of the podcast. Congratulations. You just gave us your most precious resource on the planet. We're so grateful for this time that you spent with us around the campfire. And we look forward to seeing you at the next show. We're out. Peace.